Quality of life is tied to the perception of meaning. The quest for meaning is central to the human condition.
Quality of life. Yeah, I think it's really everything to do with feeling fulfilled at the end of the day. You know, it's more than just meeting your needs. It's, I guess, fulfilling some desires that everybody has within them, and whether it's a goal or for yourself or helping somebody else, there's just a sense of fulfillment that somebody would get. That would, to me, would be quality of life.
Quality of life is when things are running well, and when you're enjoying being with your family and everyone's healthy.
Quality of life for me means just being happy and living life to the fullest.
Quality of life is having fun, being serious, making sure that you're studying and stuff like that, and then in between just have a good laugh.
For me, it means being able to be with the people that I love and being able to have a close relationship with my family. It means being able to work and do the things that I have a passion about and being able to have the opportunity to do that.
Good quality of life means having a community in which I am a member, being in a community for which I feel accepted, feel that I have value in that community, a community in which I have the ability to contribute on one or many levels, a community in which I feel comfortable.
The quality of life is being safe and secure and having a good job and living in a safe place, having a home. It's very important to everyone, but especially children with autism.
I think I look at my own life and obviously personal satisfaction and feeling good, physical well-being, I think is very important. I've been doing this work with all individuals with all different ability levels for about 13 years, and then primarily with individuals with autism. And what I've really focused is they're just like you and I. You know, everyone, no matter what their special needs are, everyone wants a quality life. I mean, you want to be able to wake up in the morning and feel good about yourself and make a difference and be happy.
Quality of life means the things that you do in your normal life that have quality. Quality of friends, quality of love, quality of food, and quality of work, and just basically what makes you happy.
And I think that for these individuals, it's about having choice. When you have a disability, there are so many things, you know, you and I take it for granted that we can just go to the store and we have no physical limitations, or we can, you know, we can read, we can write, we can see, we can hear. People with disabilities have so many limitations that you take for granted, you know, and especially for people with autism, there's that communication and that social barrier.
Well, a lot of the major difficulties is the social aspect of living life. People with Asperger's or even slightly on the autistic spectrum have difficulty interpreting nonverbal communication signals, basically body language. And that tends to put people off if you're not familiar with that.
And I think it's just about choice, being able to go wherever you want, whether it's a grocery store or to a college campus or down the street to a neighbor's house. They should be able to be accepted and to feel good about themselves and really experience anything that anybody else can experience.
Being Asperger, my learning abilities are slightly different from others, so I found the class schedule in college a lot tougher and more difficult to cope with than, say, in high school. It's been difficult to find work. I'm not very trained in many job skills, so it's not easy. Basically, the social aspect of interviews, if you're not familiar with body language and other stuff, the interviewer could make a quick judgment about you that you're a nervous type and other stuff that won't work well with others, and a whole host of other things that they look for.
To me, the quality of life means that we have a human potential in each one of us. And nearly all but 0.1% individuals have same genetic makeup. That means potentially we have everything that is possible to experience as human beings. Quality of life means sharing in what we have been endowed with in culture, environment, education, economy, home, friends, families. All that to me is quality of life, although our potential in each area is different.
It's hard for somebody with like Asperger's to compete socially in high school because they can't really pick up like other people's body language, or if they even if they know like what the body language is, like a lot of people learn, it's still hard to like pick it up naturally and like use it the way other people do.
Well, I definitely in high school I was a kind of a social wallflower. I mean, I found it hard to make friends and lots of friends, I should say. Even going back to grade school, I had I had one kind of buddy or friend or a guy I made friends with, and then they kind of continued into ninth grade. But even in high school, I was kind of a loner, and it was hard for me to make a lot of friends.
So as a child, when a child grows up in this environment, he or she should have opportunity to exploit any one of these areas: in economic growth, educational growth, social and cultural growth, athletics, environmental, walking, going up the hill, political, social. So to me, all that is a conglomerate of human potential.
I've suspected since I was about 13, ever since I knew what autism was, and of course this was way back in 1980 when people knew very little about it, that I might have some mild form of autism. And I was finally diagnosed with Asperger's at the age of 40. So if you do the math, that's 27 years that I have had to work on my social skills, to compensate for my difficulty with reading social cues, my difficulty with knowing what's the appropriate thing to say in a social situation. I've had all this time to compensate for that, and I've used really just my own native intelligence and just plain hard work and trial and error to get where I am today in terms of being able to relate to other people.
I think the children with autism have two issues to confront. One is their personal, that they have this condition to address and challenge with. The second one is the social. When children start withdrawing from activities that want to do but cannot, when children start feeling inadequate in some measures of life where they want to participate but cannot, or the system ignores them because they cannot perform at the level others are performing, then what we have is a situation where we have compromised the human potential.
I'm using my intelligence to do what I do. I would probably have difficulty in a field that required constant and varied social interaction. I'm thankful to be in an environment where really my mathematical ability carries the day because I am a math teacher.
I think I might have been too shy. I think it is a good idea to get into as many clubs as you can to get more social experience. Somebody said, as far as clubs go, that like quality is better than quantity.
To me, quality of life for I call them my children or people with spectrum, is really how can we assure that they can be happy as much time as possible and in their life. And I believe the way to be able to do that, to accomplish that, is to really emphasize more on what they can do and not really focus on what's their weakness or problems.
If we look at personal outcome studies and the people with autism that are the most successful, it's not really linked to their cognition and their cognitive abilities. It's linked to two things. It's linked, just like you said, to communication, and the second one is the socialization. And we know that those are the two areas that are really affected by having autism, and so then in turn then it affects their overall quality of life.
People with the spectrum, they also like to go out to be with other people. They want to be just like other kids or other people. But really, those programs and activities, people running those programs need to understand what is the best way to include them.
We are very proud of OUCARE program at Oakland because this is not a clinical or medical approach to addressing issues of autism or autism spectrum disorders, but it is an educational and social program that allows families to participate in the programs, to learn about the condition and opportunity their children can have. Even with that condition, how can they participate and have life's fulfillment? So our program brings into community parents, families, into an area where they can be educated that autism is not end of the line, but it is something in which they can contribute to the welfare and the betterness of life for their children.
They like sports and different kind of sports, and so the OUCARE realize that and understand that, so I try to help to develop a different kind of a camp to allow different group of children with spectrum be able to have, the program or activity to their like, and they like to go out and participate. So it's very important as an important part for these children, for these individuals to have quality of life.
And it is very important to start early. And what we're trying to do is get our little ones in and get that piece of that academic, that socialization piece and that communication piece started at a very early age. And again, then being able to help that child learn to generalize those skills that they're learning, and perhaps in some of the activities that we're doing, and then using them in a community setting as well. And it's, everything that we do depends upon getting the families involved. And so it's not just getting the kids involved, but getting the family involved so that everybody sees, the needs, and everybody understands how to work with the child. And at the same time, even if you've got an older individual with autism, we still have activities in that are offered, and supports that are offered for various age ranges. So not just young children, but for young adults, for adolescents and young adults as well.
Programs all range from art enrichment programs, the film camp. We have a summer day camp as well for 8 weeks. Soccer, basketball, martial arts, different sports activities.
Everybody benefits from this program. What we do in our first team meeting, we sit down with our team and explain what we do in our relationship with OUCARES. And we typically have a strong volunteer group. In the past we've had as many as 15 of our 35 players volunteer to do this 6-week program where we meet once a week with these kids, and we basically turn it over to our players, and they actually run this program.
Well, basically, OUCARES created the programs because, for the most part, most of the school districts do not have programs that are tailored for kids with autism, basically. In fact, a lot of other recreational programs in the area have special needs programs that will involve, all kids with special needs. The nice thing about this kind of program is that you can actually tailor the activity to the way that kids with autism process information. Now what this gives them a chance to do is that by getting involved with these kind of things, they're more likely to be involved with things at school, in gym class, and different things, because they're kind of getting exposed to it in more of a watered down version here, so they feel a little bit more safe with it.
I can say this, you know, we do a lot of community service. Every year we've worked with OUCARES, and it's such an important piece, I believe, you know, in development with these kids. Again, from year to year to year, I've seen firsthand, you know, the impact that this program has had on these kids.
It gives the kids a chance to experience the chaos of this kind of an activity in a more safer setting, so that they get used to it, get gradual exposure to it, and then when they start moving on to doing some of this stuff in school, it's not as overwhelming for them. Because in school, really, they don't have the chance to break things down and back it down, because they don't have a program just for the autistic children where they're doing it.
My son Jake has been a part of the film camp program for 4 years now, and all 4 years I have volunteered with him at the camp. It has changed his life dramatically. Prior to this, he really hasn't had very many friends. But now, since we've been here, he has 3 or 4 very good friends that he stays in contact with. It's nice because he comes here and he doesn't feel like he has to be someone different. He can just be himself, and everyone accepts him for who he is. He doesn't have to worry about saying anything out of line or acting different. He's the same, and he's treated that way, and it's comforting for me to come here and see that, and see him just shine.
Aaron has been doing the film camp for 4 years now, looks forward to it, loves it every year. He has a huge interest in movies, and I really see this film camp as taking him into a future job career from some aspect of it.
The Joey Travolta Film Camp is a wonderful opportunity for kids that range from 10 to 18. Even the kids that are young get a great opportunity to work with the film set and making props, costume design, and even working the camera.
And all of the kids, they get in front of the camera and they turn into someone else. What's going on inside comes out, and you can see that when they get in front of the camera. You'll see a child who doesn't talk all day, and they get in front of the camera and they come to life. And that's an amazing thing as a mom to experience and to see.
It's such a great outlet for families to be able to come here, feel accepted, have their child learn a skill. I mean, they come here and they're learning skills. It's not just, you know, fun running around, babysitting type of thing. I mean, they're actually, all of our instructors are trained professionals in the field. So they're learning skills, whether it be learning motor skills, how to kick a ball, co-regulation, being able to work with a team.
The program that we have developed is the PTAP program, the Peer Transition Assistance Program. It's a program in which we match upper class students with a new incoming student who has self-identified as being a person with Asperger's syndrome.
The students with Asperger's can decide whether or not they want to have a college peer assigned to them to work with them. And this can be in the social realm and just to have somebody to meet with at the Oakland Center and have coffee, or it can be somebody that can help to get them organized in the work that they're doing or a project or something like that.
So helping them to fully understand the differences between the high school experience and the college experience, and helping them to begin to feel a part of this community.
We created kind of like an Asperger's panel that's made up of student affairs that's involved with, you know, all the formation of all the clubs and the activities that go on, and it includes housing and counseling and advising and the academic center and the writing center and the disability center. And we meet about every 4 to 6 weeks, and we talk about some of the issues about, you know, how can we further inclusion, how can we further the socialization.
So Oakland University has taken initiatives at multiple levels. For example, we host conferences. There was a conference held just recently where we had members of community come from different states, local and out of state. There was some international interest in the conference as well. We do certificate programs, so the teachers in the schools in the area who cannot afford time to spend full time here can take short courses at Oakland and get a certification. So now they would be qualified teachers to discuss and help children with autism at their schools. We also have educational program in which people can get degrees. Not only that, we collaborate with other institutions. So we have collaborative programs.
Our program now in the 4th year, I think we've seen some great strides. We have, anecdotally, we have some great success stories. It's not a sure-all, fix-all program, but I think it's one of the very best things going.
It is through social program, community building, cultural, and educational programs. We are not interested at this time in medical treatment or issues which are still controversial and not defined. But socially, we can absolutely help children so they can become contributing partners in the community development. I like to say this, being a student of history myself, that some of the great men and women in the world had autism-related disorders. Einstein, who could not read or count well, became one of the biggest minds in the world, and we still think he was super intelligent, but he started with a handicap. So I think there are many more examples we can cite. If these men and women at a younger age were not encouraged by their parents or society, we would have lost them. So I think this program really is a down payment for the growth of this superhuman being that the children can become.